are back on PJ Sports Talk, the place to be every Saturday at noon. I am live with my co-host Dylan, and do we have Carleigh on the phone?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. And you are equestrian. Equestrian.
Yes.
What is that?
An equestrian is, well, I compete in horseback riding, and I compete in show jumping, and a bunch of, I compete in working hunter and equitation, and just different forms of jumping.
Do you ever get scared or nervous when you're jumping?
Sometimes I do if I'm in a class where I'm not really comfortable, but for the most part, I usually don't. It's kind of just a fun thrill that I just love, and usually, for the most part, I never get scared.
This is Dylan. How would you compare horseback riding to any other traditional sport?
Well, horseback riding is really different because you're working with an animal who is your partner, and you have to have a lot of trust with that animal, especially when you're jumping over 3-foot, 4-foot fences. And it just takes a really strong bond and a really strong trust because you're not able to communicate and actually speak words with them. So it makes it pretty difficult sometimes.
And we are talking with Carleigh Beatus. She is the equestrian. Carleigh, this is PJ. When did you start?
I started riding when I was 3 years old, actually.
Wow.
Yep.
And what made you start?
Well, my aunt has a farm up in Williston, Florida. And so I originally started, it was my birthday, actually, when I was 3 years old. And I went up to her farm, and I first started riding one of her little miniature horses. And ever since then, I just fell in love with it, and it became my passion.
Do you have a favorite horse?
Like a favorite horse that I've owned, or just
Yeah.
a favorite breed? My favorite horse I've probably owned is the one I have now. His name's Hollywood. He's a pretty neat horse.
What makes him so special?
Well, he's just been a huge challenge for me. I compare him to a college textbook. He's so difficult sometimes. It's really hard to read him and figure him out, and he's just been a great stepping stool for me, and he's really taught me a lot. So it's a lot of fun. He'll do anything you put in front of him. He's a great horse.
So how did the name Hollywood come up?
Actually, he came with that name, and it's kind of funny. I thought it was kind of a weird name when I first got him, and he had that name, but it definitely fits his personality. He's just such a character. He's just like our barn. I named him that because he just has so much personality, and it really just fits him.
And what is your favorite breed of horse?
My favorite breed, I don't know. I would say probably blood. They're probably my favorite breed. That's most of my life I've owned warm bloods and ridden them, and they're just really neat horses. But I don't think I truly have a favorite breed because every horse, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a thoroughbred, a quarter horse, a warm blood. It kind of just depends on the horse and what they have to offer.
What's the biggest challenge about horseback riding?
Biggest challenge? I would say it would have to be just the fact that your partner is a horse and they're not able to communicate with you and speak to you about how they feel, and you really just have to get connected with them and just build so much. You're not going to be able to do anything with them, and you guys, it's hard to understand when you can't speak to them. So that's probably the most difficult thing about horseback riding.
And we are talking with Carleigh Beatus. She's the equestrian. And how many awards do you have?
How many have?
Yes, how many awards do you have?
Quite a few. I have multiple circuit champions, and I just went to the World Show this year and last year, and I ended up, this year I placed World 11th.
Are you still there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's your next championship?
Well, this winter we're going to finish up, and through the spring we're going to be competing a lot in Wellington at a show called WEF. And throughout the summer we're going to be traveling up north to New York and Virginia, Minnesota. So we'll be doing a lot of traveling to a lot of big shows.
Who is your idol?
My idol, probably BZ Madden. I've always just looked up to her since I was young, and always loved the way she's ridden and loved all of her horses. And I would aspire to be like her. She's amazing.
When you're so busy being with your horse, how do you do in school?
It's difficult trying to keep up with all my schoolwork, especially when I'm constantly missing school. I'll miss sometime a week at a time. Or my school, thank God, it really works with me on it and sends me all of my work to help me keep up with everything. But it is difficult, and it's difficult to have a social life as well, because riding is my life, and I have to put so much time into it. I have to ride 5 days a week, and it's difficult balancing a social life and my school life. And but for the most part, I've done really well in school, which I'm lucky.
That's really cool. Do you think you're going to do this for a lot longer?
Yeah, I would love to do it the rest of my life. I hope to go to Europe eventually, probably after college, and I'd love to do Grand Prix over there.
Can you make money?
Oh, yeah, you can make a lot of money, definitely. Once you start entering into bigger classes, you definitely can make money. I've actually, this past October, when I was showing in Ohio, it was my first time ever winning money, which was pretty exciting.
And how can we connect with you?
Who connect?
Like,
I'm sorry.
how can we get in touch with you?
Well, I have a website. It's carleighbeatus.com, and we try to keep that updated as much as possible. So that's a way to follow me.
And can you spell your website?
It is CarleigheBeatus.com.
And you can go to that website to follow her on Facebook, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff. Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
Good luck in writing.
Thank you very much.
We have our NFL picks. Oh, and a Happy New Year, too. And we have our NFL picks next.